Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you. And it is a matter of uh, great honor for me to be addressing this elite gathering comprising my seniors, teachers, colleagues, friends, and students. I sincerely thank Father Johnny, the principal of the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, for this opportunity. I also thank HOD Department of English, Dr. Shibani Basu Dubey ma'am, and the program in charge, Dr. Sana Faruqi ma'am, for this opportunity. I'm really grateful towards all of you. Thank you very much. Sana ma'am, can I start?
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, can we take the lead, ma'am? Can I over to you? Shall we start?
Yes, just a
Yes.
minute. Let me share my PPT with all of
Okay,
you.
please.
Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Okay, so I welcome you all to this international webinar on the topic, The Theatre of Absurd, with plays of Beckett and Sircar in perspective and comparison. Now, first, okay, so this is the layout of the presentation. First, I'll discuss with you all the introduction. And in introduction, I'll discuss with you all what is theater of absurd, where did it come up, who were the major writers, and what were the major works done at that time or at that movement, theater of absurd. Then after that, I'll discuss with you all the plays of Samuel Beckett, especially Waiting for Godot and Endgame. And then I'll compare this work with the works of Samuel Badal Sarkar's Evam Indrajit and Procession. After this, I'll discuss with you all the style and techniques used by both the writers, then comparative evaluation of theme, plot, and characters, and finally, the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. As I have told you that when we discuss the plays of Samuel Beckett and Badal Sarkar, so definitely this term comes, the theatre of absurd. So it is very important to know or understand what is theatre of absurd. Theatre of absurd, this term was first coined by Martin Esslin. Fine. And theatre of absurd began around 1950s and it followed till 1980s. So it's a movement. And, though it was coined by Martin Esslin, but this movement was inspired by Albert Camus. And as just a few more minutes before, Shibani ma'am told us that there's a very famous work by Albert Camus, Myth of Sisyphus. You can see this picture here. So in Myth of Sisyphus, Albert Camus describes the what is absurd, what is the philosophy of absurd. And according to Albert Camus, man is on a quest to understand the meaning of life. And while doing so, they do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, they are not able to get the proper or exact meaning of life. That is the problem. That philosophy Albert Camus has discussed in his work, Myth of Sisyphus. Now here in this picture, we can see that a person is trying to push a ball. Now, in Myth of Sisyphus, we come to know about a Greek mythological character, Sisyphus, who was condemned in an existence where he had to roll a ball on the top of the mountain. And we see that the ball comes again and again. And again, Sisyphus tried to roll that ball on the top of the mountain. Now you can see what kind of existence, what kind of life it is. The situation of Sisyphus and the situation of ours is not that different. We all do a lot of work in our life, but at the end of our life, we achieve nothing. Fine. And that is theater of absurd. That is absurdity of life, which Albert Camus is trying to convey to us. Now, I have a question to all of you. When we discuss about theater of absurd, are we able to connect any other movements with theater of absurd? Any one of you? Is there any other movement which we can connect with theater of absurd? Okay, so with theater of absurd, we can connect surrealism, nihilism, existentialism. Now, if we talk in a very brief manner, I'll tell you what is surrealism, what is nihilism, and existentialism. Surrealism is again another movement which come up after World War I as a reaction to World War II. Fine. And in this, moment, surrealism, we can see a lot of dream sequences, then nightmaring dreams, then, sexual connotations. So these types of things we come across when we talk about surrealism. Then, as against, nihilism is, sometimes we associate nihilism with extreme pessimism. A true nihilist would believe in nothing. For them, all the values are baseless. So that is nihilism. So we can connect nihilism, surrealism, and existentialism with theater of absurd also. Now, when we talk about theater of absurd, so we see that it is because of that time, because here we were talking that the time frame of theater of absurd is 1950s to 1980s. So just before that, we have seen that there were World War I and World War II. So somehow it is related to that. And the end of theater of absurd is marked with the death of Samuel Beckett in 1989. So Samuel Beckett's death marked the end of theater of absurd. Now the question is, how did it come up? To understand this, we have to understand the political and economic condition of that time. If you see the time frame of theater of absurd, so you will see that just before it, there was World War II. And, 48 million people were killed and many suffered. So somehow, that's why we see in the plays of Beckett and Badal Sircar and other writers who were there, who were present at that time, we see in their plays a lot of fear, doubt, pessimism, extreme negativity. So it is what? How did it come? It is just because of World War II. Then, who were the major writers? Now, here, these are the major writers: Samuel Beckett, Harold Pinto, then there is Albert Elby, Eugene Ionesco, Arthur Adamov, Martin Eslin, Badal Sircar, and Satyajit Ray. So they are the major writers of theater of absurd. If you read the plays, so in every work you will find absurdity. Now these are few important or we can say major works done by these writers. The Birthday Party. It's a very famous play by Harold Pinto. And in this play, if you read this play, so you will come across characters who are speaking gibberish. You will not understand what exactly they are uttering, what they are trying to convey. So what kind of absurdity it is? So in this play, the birthday party, we see that everything, every character speaks gibberish, and no one is able to understand. So this is one of the way to present absurdity. Then if we take this example, Rhinoceros is again a very important and very prominent work by Eugene Ionesco. So it's again absurd work. And in this play we see that the inhabitants of a French town, provincial town, they turn to into rhinoceros, and the whole play moves around this. The whole play centered rhinoceros. What kind of absurdity it is? What the author is trying to convey through this work? So these are the prominent, themes at that time in every work. If we take this example, No Exit, which is written by Jean Paul Sartre, then the Just Assassin is written by Albert Camus. Waiting for Godot is written by Samuel Beckett. Then we have just discussed The Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus. Then this work is again very important, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, written by Edward Albee, and Ping Pong by Arthur Adamov. So these were the famous and prominent works done by these authors at the time of, under this movement, theater of absurd. Now, can you identify them? We have just discussed about a lot of authors and their work. Can any one of you identify the picture?
Yes, ma'am. I can see the messages they are texting back.
Okay. Sanam, can you please read the answers? What they are answering?
This is Shubhadeep Jana. It's saying Satyajit Ray is one of them.
Yes, very good, very good. The first one is Satyajit Ray. And what about the second one? Any one of you?
Chinmoy Biswas is also saying Satyajit Ray.
Okay. Now I'm asking about the second picture. Who is there in second picture? No?
This is Shubhadeep. He's saying that Pinto, but he is not sure.
Yes, Shubhadeep, you are absolutely right. This picture is of Harold Pinto. Fine, Harold Pinto. Third one?
I would request all the viewers kindly make it interactive. Instead of texting, you can please unmute yourself and answer. Thank you.
This is
Eugene Ionesco,
yes.
texted by Shubhadeep Jana.
Yes, Shubhadeep, it's good if you interact because, it's a little bit difficult to see all the messages and then talk with you all. So, yes, Shubhajit, it's Eugene Ionesco. And the fourth one?
Jean Paul.
Yes, Jean Paul Sartre. Very good, very good. Yes, you have identified correctly. Yes, very good. So, this one is Satyajit Ray, Harold Pinto, Eugene Ionesco, and Jean Paul Sartre. Very good. Now move to next slide. Now here we will discuss in a very brief manner about Samuel Beckett. That maybe all of you know that Samuel Beckett was born in Dublin, Ireland in 1906. And he started, writing at the age of 16. And this point is very important, that he was a very, very, great cricketer of Ireland. Most of you will know this thing, that he loved cricket. And as we all know that he excelled in academics, but apart from that, this point is very important that Beckett in Paris met a very, and assisted a very renowned and prominent Irish um, author, James Joyce, who was 25 years senior to him. And Beckett has done a lot of work with James Joyce. So in his works, we are also able to see, you know, the picture of James Joyce works also. And in 1930s, when Beckett was traveling a lot of place, so he found himself between, Nazis party in Germany, and there he witnessed the cruelty and brutality of Nazi party. So that also we can connect with his works when we read his works. So we can find out through his writing or the cruelty or the violence he has used or the silence or repetition he has used. So maybe this is one of the reason behind it, because he has witnessed all these things. And he has also received Nobel Prize in Literature in 1969. Now let's talk about Waiting for Godot, this play, a very, very famous play by Samuel Beckett. Waiting for Godot does not tell a story. It explores a static situation. Like nothing happens, nobody comes, nobody goes, and it's awful. This this Waiting for Godot, a universe from nothing, we can say. So the play starts in a bare country side road by a tree, where we see two old tramps by the name Vladimir and Estragon. They are waiting for Godot. And this is the beginning of, or you can say this is the starting of the Act 1. And here we see that these two tramps, Vladimir and Estragon, they were continuously waiting for Godot. And after some time, there comes a boy who informs these two persons that Godot is not going to come, but Godot will come tomorrow. And in next act, in say Act 2, we see the same pattern. Fine, they still were waiting. Vladimir and Estragon, they were still waiting. And again, the same boy comes and informs these two old tramps the same message, that Godot, Godot will come tomorrow. And in this way, we see that how they spend time, what type of conversation is going between Vladimir and Estragon, in between what happened, what other characters are trying to portray. So this type of things we can, see in this work, Waiting for Godot. Now, what is the subject of this work? Is it Godot or waiting? What do you feel when you read? I hope most of the students have read this work. So what is the subject of this work? Is the subject is Godot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, from your point of view, it is Godot. But actually, Godot is what? The subject of this play is waiting. Continuously, these two characters, they were waiting for Godot. They don't know who is Godot and when he'll come, but they are waiting. So waiting is the subject. Godot is not the subject. And if you analyze this point, you will understand that waiting is an essential part of human condition. We all wait for some or the other thing. It is not only about Vladimir or Estragon are waiting for Godot. You also wait for something. I also wait for something. Sometimes we wait for some event. Sometimes we wait for someone. Few people, they wait for death. So human, they wait for some other thing. So this you have to understand when you read this play, and when you go through line by line. So it seems ki what exactly is going on. You are not able to understand what they are talking, what they are trying to present, what exactly they wanted to show. But they, there are hidden meanings that we have to understand. What Samuel Beckett through this play is trying to convey to us. Then, after some time, we also come to know about two characters named Lucky and Pozu. So, Pozu is the master, cruel master, sadistic master, and Lucky is a servant. These two characters, through these two characters, Samuel Beckett is trying to show the cruelty, the theme of cruelty and violence. Now, cruelty every time doesn't mean that killing someone. The characters, how they were talking with each other, what kind of activities they are doing, how they are behaving with each other, also that is also a part of cruelty. So through these two characters, we see very easily we can understand the theme of cruelty, that how Pozo treats Lucky, and what happened with them. But still, after knowing about all these things, we see one interesting thing, that they both are interdependent. Fine, they Lucky hates Pozo, but still he was not able to leave him. So now let's discuss the next play, Endgame. In this play also, this play starts in a bare room with two small windows, and there we see Ham, who, Ham is a blind blind old man, who is paralyzed, and who, who is not able to stand. He sits on his wheelchair. And on the other side, there is another character named Clove, his servant. He is not able to sit down. Now, in these pictures, you can see that they are the parents of Ham, Nag, and Nell in the ash cans. So these four characters think that they are the sole survivors. Why? Because outside, everything is dead. No one left alive. Only these four characters: Ham, Clove, Nag, and Nell. Now, with this play, we come to know that Clove, the servant, hates Ham. He don't want to live with him. But still, till the end of the play, we see that he is obeying the orders of his master. Now the question comes, why? Now you can connect this thing with your perspective also. It is a frequent situation with all of us. We work with some people, we live with some people whom we don't like. We don't want to work with them, but still we do. Why? That is absurd. You are not able to get a proper answer for this. Maybe you have the answer, but you are not able to apply it in your real life. That is the problem. That is absurd. So here we see that Clove don't want to live with Ham. He hates Ham because of his cruelty, because of his bad behavior. But still we see that they both are interdependent. And this shows our situation. We are also interdependent. You can, for example, you can take, couples. There are other people who don't want to live with each other, don't want to work with each other, but still they are doing the things. And that is absurd. On the other side, we see that this character, main character Ham, he actually hates his parents. And there was a dialogue when we see that Ham, um, when Nag, Ham's father, was awakened by uh, Ham. So he was very annoyed, and he started shouting on him. And he said, "Whom did you call when you were a tiny boy and were frightened in the dark? Your mother? No, me." So immediately after this dialogue, Ham reveals how selfishly his father ignores his calls. And then again, Nag replies, "We let you cry, then we moved out of earshot so that we might sleep in peace. I was your only hope." Now, here, after reading these two dialogues, maybe this thought comes in your mind that how cruel parents Nag and Nil. But, we cannot see things from only one perspective. Now, I want to give you a current situation with which you can connect this dialogue, or with which you can connect the situation. Like if we take the current situation, here we see that, uh, you know, working father, working mother, and father has his own stress, mother has her own stress, and they both work hard to meet all the things which was necessary for day to day life. To meet them, they work hard day and night, and when they return home, now just suppose a situation when they return home, there were children who were crying and they were trying to get attention of their parents. So what is the situation in present day scenario? Parents hand over their mobile to them, and they were asked to do whatever they wish to do, and they don't want to disturb themselves because they are tired. So in this situation, what what is the result? We land up, our society land up with a situation where, children, they are not capable, or you can say they are not sensible enough to interact with. So now my question to you all is, would you look at it from the point of the child, or would you look at it from the point of the parent? Any one of you?
Ma'am, would you pardon, please?
Like here, I have presented a situation where we see that if just we read the dialogue, so we come to know that, the parents of Ham were actually very cruel. But here I have presented a situation in front of you, the present or current situation, where parents are doing hard work to meet their daily expenses. And after returning from home, from work, when they found that their children were crying and they were trying to get attention, so that time parents hand over their gadgets, mobile phone to them, so that they can rest in uh, they can rest for some time. So my question to you all is, would you look at the situation from the point of the child or from the point of the parent? Who is cruel here?
Ma'am, here I think the parent is cruel, and I would like to look it up from the point of view of the child, because now the child doesn't know what's right or what is wrong, but the parent knows what's right and what is wrong. Handing over the gadget just to avoid the nagging at this point of the time when the child doesn't have any proper sense of right and wrong is, I think, a wrong thing from the point of view of a parent.
Okay. Okay. So you will say it from the point of view of child, and you feel that the parents were cruel. But Just try to understand the situation. If the parents are not going to work, how they will meet their day-to-day expenses. Now here we are talking about job stress. Now just remove this point, this job stress, to depression and to this joblessness. Because when all these plays were written, or here when we were talking about the movement of theater of absurd, so here this point is very important, that at that time, middle class people were, jobless. There's a lot of depression, and that's why this kind of situation is there. So basically, here in this play, Endgame, Samuel Beckett is not trying to convey to you all that the parents are cruel. He is trying to show you or present you the situation, in which situation it was written, and what exactly it is trying to convey to you all. So you can connect your situation with this situation. As a mirror, you can use all these dialogues. You can place yourself. This is the beauty of the theater of absurd, where you can place yourself, where you can place your situation with their situation. But you have to understand the inner meaning, the deep meaning of it. When we just read the lines without understanding, so it seems ki what nonsense, what is going on, or you are not able to understand what exactly the author is trying to convey, or which kind of picture he is trying to portray through this. Now here, these are a few important points, like the theater of absurd and Samuel Beckett. So you see, he gives emphasis on absurdity of human existence in Waiting for Godot. And for example, we have taken this another work, Endgame. There we can see that very easily we can find out that he emphasizes on the absurdity of human existence. Then meaningless dialogues like nothing is to be done, boots must be taken off every day. I often said that. So you'll come across a lot of meaningless dialogues. And then through writing, you can also find out a lot of frustration. We can find out a lot of frustration between the Beckettian characters. Lucky, Pozu, Ham, Clove, Nag, Nell, or if you take, Ham, Nag, everywhere you will see frustration. Different shades of frustration you are able to see in the works, in the plays of Samuel Beckett. He asks a lot of philosophical questions. Who are we? What are the true nature of ourselves? What does a human being means when he says I? Whom for? What for? Where? When? Why do you stay with me? These type of questions, whatever work you will read. Here, specifically because we were discussing about Samuel Beckett and Badal Sircar, so I have taken all the examples from his work. But this type of philosophical questions you will come across whenever you will read any absurd play written by any of the writer. But this is the speciality of Samuel Beckett. He uses a lot of philosophical questions in his plays. Now, can you name a book that you have read which has an absurd theme? Any one of you? Any work or any book? I think most of you have read Waiting for Godot, Evam Indriji.
Yes, I am getting lots of text here.
Okay.
Saying the zoo story of LB. Sejal Parmar is saying the plate by Camus.
Okay. Very good, very good. Yes. And there's a lot of works which, which has an absurd theme. And there's one more work of Anton Chekhov. I think most of you have read The Death of a Government Clerk. It also has an absurd theme. So there are a lot of works which has absurd theme. Very good. I mean, students, if you speak, it's better. Now let's talk about, in a very brief manner, about Badal Sarkar. Badal Sarkar's actual name was Sudhendra Sarkar, but he was known as Badal Sarkar, born in Calcutta on July 15, 1925. The interesting thing about Badal Sarkar is he graduated in civil engineering. He's not a literature person, but while working as a town planner in India, England, and Nigeria, he developed certain kind of liking for theater, and he joined theater as an actor, then moved to director, and after that he started writing plays. So his initial plays were humorous plays, like Bollopure Roop Kotha, then Boro Pishima, Ram Sham Jodu. These were his famous and very prominent works, but these works are humorous plays. And after that, he started writing, these type of plays where we see a lot of absurdity. He was famous for his anti-establishment plays during the Naxalite movement in 1970s, and he is the one who introduced third theater. He established Shatabdi, his theater group, in 1967, and he introduced this term third theater. Now today we will discuss two plays by Badal Sarkar, Evam Indrajit and Procession. In Evam Indrajit, we see that the play starts with a writer who is very frustrated because he is not getting any topic to start his story. And after some time, we see that he was inspired by a woman named Manasi. Manasi means heart's desire. So he was inspired by Manasi, and he decided to write about 4 people from the audience: Amal Kumar, Vimal Kumar, Kamal Kumar, and Nirmal Kumar. When the writer, asked these 4 people to come to the stage, they were, shocked. What is going on? And then we see that, these 4 characters, Amal, Kamal, Vimal, and Nirmal, introduce themselves to the writer. But the 4th one, Nirmal Kumar, this name was not accepted by the writer, and he asked Nirmal to reveal his actual name, real name. So after a little persuasion, Nirmal Kumar states that he is Indrajit. So when he was asked why he is trying to hide his name, so he stated that he is, scared. He is scared to bring unrest in the society, and that's why he don't want to reveal his real name. And then we see that Indrajit, discussed a lot of things with the writer, that how he feel about the society. He feels suppressed. He feels that he is moving like a puppet, and he is not able to take his own decisions. He have to follow the same thing which was followed by others, and in this way he feel suppressed, and he is not happy. So here we see that Indrajit is frustrated by the typical life cycle of an educated middle class boy who is expected to study, finish school, go to college, graduate, get a job, married, and produce children. And in return, they again do the same thing. So, in Indrajit's words, you know, he says that, you know, there is just a large wheel. There's just a large wheel going on and on and on, and we would just, you know, and we go round and round with it. So means our life is repetitive, the same repetitive things we were doing. That Bada Sarkar, through this play, try to express to all the readers. Then if we talk about this next work, Procession, the play begins with a procession where we see that 5 people, they were the part of that procession, and they were talking with each other. And what kind of conversation is going between them, among them? They were talking, they were discussing the problems of load shedding. They were discussing the problems of water, problems related to water. And suddenly they heard a scream, and they saw that a man who is named Khoka is dying over and over, again and again, just to get the attention of the officer, of the policeman. Now the question is, why Khoka is dying again and again? What Bada Sarkar is trying to convey or portray through this character Khoka? Are we not dying because of rising prices, because of corruption, because of communal clashes, because of postponement of examination, because of water problem, because of electricity problem? Are we not dying? Now, if you see the play from this point of view, from your point of view, so you will understand that there is no difference between you and Khoka. So Khoka addressed the audience by saying that I was killed today. I was killed yesterday. I was killed every day, every month, every year. So through this dialogue, what he is trying to convey, he's trying to convey that our situation is same. There is no change. The same thing we are repeating, repetitively, we are doing the same thing which we have done in our past. And that is absurd. That absurd plays try to portray. So when you are going to read all these plays, all these works, if you just read line by line, you will not understand what the author is trying to convey to you. But when you will place yourself in the place of the characters, then only you will understand what exactly is going on. Now see here, as I have told you, that Bada Sarkar introduced third theatre. So these are a few pictures of third theatre. Now the question is, when there was already a theatre, so what is the story behind the creation of third theatre? Why Bada Sarkar created third theatre? According to Bada Sarkar, proscenium theatre is full of barriers. Now, which type of barriers? Barriers of distance, barriers of level, barriers of light, barriers of darkness. And according to Bada Sarkar, he actually wanted to remove all these barriers from theatre. And that's why he created third theatre. Now, just for an example, what is barrier of level? Performers present on the stage. So the level of the stage is different from the level of the floor. where audience sits. So he wanted to remove that barrier. Then we have seen that the actors are in light, but the hall and audience is in darkness. So he also wanted to remove that. He don't want that gap between the spectator and performer, because he says that theater should be he wanted to use theater as a mean of direct communication. And that's why Badal Sarkar believes that it is very, very important to remove all these barriers from theater, and that's why he created third theater. Now here in these pictures, you can make out very easily that there is no gap between the spectator and the performer. Now, again, a question for you all. Can you name a movie that has an absurd theme? Have you ever watched any movie? Any one of you?
Ma'am, Andhadhun.
Okay, okay, yes, good. Any other movie? Yes, it has an absurd theme. Any other work? Okay, good, very good. There are other movies also, Hollywood movies also, where Dr. Brian is a very important, absurd theme-based movie. Then there is one more movie, the songs from the second floor. Yes, the songs from the second floor. It's again a very interesting movie. Whenever you people get time, please watch. And there, in these movies, you will understand the theme of absurdity very clearly. Now, Samuel Beckett's style and technique. These are few techniques which was used by Samuel Beckett very prominently in his works. The first one is stigmatia. Now, what is stigmatia? In drama, stigmatia is a sentence which is used alternately by the same sentence, same dialogue, which is used by alternately by two characters. Like, let me show you. Yeah, these are a few examples. Like here you see Estragon's dialogue, what did we do yesterday? Vladimir, what did we do yesterday? The same dialogue by two different characters. So this is a technique which is known as stigmatia, fine, which was used by Samuel Beckett. Next one is Phatic Communion. Now, what is Phatic Communion? When you read the plays of Samuel Beckett, you'll see that, Beckettian characters, they use words as a mean of passing time. You'll not get a proper connection between the dialogues. So here, if I read these dialogues for you, you will very easily find out that they were just, passing time. There is no connection between all these dialogues. Like Estragon, let's go. Vladimir, we cannot. Estragon, why not? We are waiting for Godot. Ah, you are sure? It was here. Vladimir, what? That we were to wait? He said, by the tree. Do you see any others? What is it? I do not know. A willow. Where are the leaves? It must be dead. No more weeping. Or perhaps not the season. Look to me more like a bush. Now they have started with Godot and they end bush. There's no connectivity between these dialogues. So it's a technique, very prominent technique used by Samuel Beckett, which is known as Phatic Communion. Then repetition. Repetition, you all know. In Beckett's plays are repetitive. It shows the monotonous repetitiveness of human action. It also suggests character's inability to solve the problem. So when you read the plays of Samuel Beckett, so there you'll come across repetitive actions, repetitive dialogues. So basically, it shows that characters are unable to solve the problem, or they are repeating the same action again and again. Next one is intentional syntax. Intentional syntax is a group of words or sentence, you can say, which is used to confuse, readers. It seems that someone is, is out of mind, out of control. When you read these dialogues, so you will understand that either the person has some kind of problem, a mental problem, or you will not understand what exactly the character is trying. Like, I'm just reading. Give existence in the public works of Watman of qua 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 beard qua 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 qua. Now you will not understand. Looks like that as out. So again, a technique which is known as intentional syntax. Cliché is a very literary device. I know. Dialogue or opinion. So that is our few examples of cliches. Presentation of comic manner. Place. He used serious issues in a very comic manner. Here, I have quoted few dialogues of Vladimir and Estragon when they were planning to suicide. And what type of conversation is going between them, that is very interesting. They were talking like, you go first, and, after you, no, you first, why me? So Vladimir says that you are lighter than I. Just so. So here, the scene is what? They are trying to commit suicide. And you read the dialogues. These dialogues are very humorous. So this is another very prominent feature of Samuel Beckett's works. Now, let's discuss the style and technique of Badal Sircar. Emphasis on audience participation. As I've told you, we have discussed about Evam Indrajit, where we come to know that the writer, when he was not able to get any content for his writing, so he called for people from the audience. So in most of the works, not only in Evam Indrajit and Procession, in Bhoma, in other works also, you can see this kind of feature. It is a very, prominent feature used by Badal Sircar, that he gives emphasis on audience participation. Then anti-proscenium nature, we have already discussed this point, that he developed third theater because he doesn't like proscenium theater, because I've told you that because of the barriers, it was not liked by him, and that's why he created a third theater. So anti-proscenium nature you are able to see in the works of Badal Sircar. And because it is anti-proscenium nature, that's why it is flexible also and inexpensive also. Like just for an example, we do a lot of nukkad nataks these days. Fine. So nukkad natak is what? Flexible. You can play nukkad natak anyway, and it is inexpensive also. Then approach to acting. For Badal Sircar, what is important for theatre? Human body. Fine. Human body was very important for theatre, nothing else. No stage, no light, no props. Everything you can manage, but without human body, you cannot manage theater. So according to him, theater in theater, human body is very important. With the help of human body, you can present anything, you can express anything. Then he used theater as a tool of political ideology, and he used theater, for handmaiden of democratic socialism also. So through his street theaters, through his anti-proscenium theaters, he has presented a lot of matter which was related to political matters and social matters. So he has discussed a lot of things, and this is that's why it seems to us very unique, because without any prop, without any expense, if a person is able to convey these type of things which were very important, and which were which is available for everyone, so that is very important and unique thing. He also uses a lot of symbols, like in procession we have discussed that there was a dead man, and in other works he used poisonous trees and other things to present it in a different manner, a lot of things. So he used symbols also. Now, comparative evaluation of theme, plot, and characters of Samuel Beckett. Now, here we have discussed the two plays of Samuel Beckett, Waiting for Godot and Endgame. So this point is very important here. The theme as a poetic harlequin, portraying life as a incomprehensible nullity enveloped by colorful patterns. What exactly Samuel Beckett is trying to convey through this? Or what, after reading his plays, what kind of conclusion or what we come to know about the theme, plot, and characters? So when we assume, it's just an example, when we assume society from the point of view of society, so life seems very unique gift to us. What if the society comprising people for whom the value of life is null? Just imagine, your entire assumption will change. So here what I'm trying to tell you is that today I'm trying to talk to you all in a very sensible manner. Because if I start talking gibberish, then possibly the audience will not like it. And I am sensitive to this fact that I need to be, sensible while speaking to you all. But if I lack total appreciation of my image, then I'm free to do anything. I don't bother anyone what others are going to feel, or what they feel about me. So here what I'm trying to tell you is that it depends person to person. We all we can see this absurdity from different point of view. If we take the example of Leonardo da Vinci, the famous painter. So nullity is, from his point of view, if we see, so nullity is wrapped in constructive patterns. If we take the example of terrorists, so nullity is wrapped in destructive patterns. If we take the example of you and me, so maybe it is nullity is wrapped in colorful patterns. So this is what Samuel Beckett is trying to convey here, that you can look these plays from different perspective, from your perspective. Second thing, a plot to build a cosmos out of the awareness of a passing moment, leading to the characters to involve audience subconscious. When we evolve, suppose we try to evolve ourselves. So when we evolve ourselves, we'll find ourselves at a very different level. And so for that time, for society, it is very difficult to connect with us. So theater of absurd, bridge this gap. You cannot say now, like you cannot say, for example, if we take the example of Swami Vivekananda or Ramakrishna Paramhans. So we all know that they have achieved their state after a lot of tapasya and sadhana. But we cannot expect the same thing from common man, that they also go through a lot of sadhana and prayer and tapasya, then only they are able to understand the evolved state of the characters. So what theater of absurd try to do? They extract a few things from a few characters from these characters, and they extract a few things from our character and try to merge it on a ground level, so that the common people also able to understand what the evolved state of these characters. So here these 2 points, the characters, the second and third point tells about that to understand anything doesn't mean that you also have to go through the same way. You can understand, and theater of absurd always helps you to understand the situation. Then the characters of Beckett's plays are homeless and striving, forced to sleep in ditches. They can barely remember who they are, where they are, what day it is. So these type of things we can see in the plays of Samuel Beckett. It actually gives you a picture of that time, as we have already discussed that, because people, because of World War II, people were disturbed and everything was changed. Initially, before World War I and II, we are able to see the themes of patriotism, hopefulness. But just after this war, all these themes were replaced by a very dark genre, which is also known as film noir. Film noir is a cinematic term which is used for crime dramas. So here we see in Samuel Beckett's plays that the characters are homeless, striving, and this actually gives a picture of that time. Then, comparative evaluation of theme, plot, and characters of Bahadur Sircar. The themes exposing day-to-day struggle for survival and meaninglessness of existence and decline of human values and emotions. The plots emphasizing disastrous effects of colonial subjugation, existentialism, and evils of materialism. That also you can connect. These points you can very easily connect with the works of Bahadur Sircar. And we can also say that it actually represents the time of exploitation. This and it in Sircar's play we can see that how beautifully or with a deep meaning how he is trying to explain these things in his work. And Sircar's plays reflected the atrocities that prevailed in the society and decayed hierarchical system. In hierarchical system also we can see this kind of thing. Like Britishers, in the plays of Bahadur Sircar, we can see that Britishers exploited landlords, then landlords exploited the peasants, and the plight of the peasants, the plight of common man, unemployed, educated man, we are able to see in the works of Bahadur Sircar. Now, conclusion is We have discussed all these points in a different way, in a different manner also. But this point is very important, that Beckett's character, I, is both the observer and the object. As I have told you, whenever you will read the works of Samuel Beckett or Badal Sircar, you can also place yourself in the play. You can also see yourself in the play. Fine, you are also able to connect your situation with the play. So in this mean, I in Beckett's character is both observer and the object. Then in the plays of Beckett, action takes place in the mind of one man. So like we have discussed about Godot. Who's Godot? It is based on your aspiration. What you aspire, according to that, that kind of shape you'll create in your mind. Maybe for someone, Godot is a success, or for someone, Godot is death. So it depends person to person. Then Beckett's writing shows interdependency. Characters hate each other, and that's why they do not want to leave each other. Now we have discussed about Nag and Nell, we have discussed about Ham and Clove, and Lucky and Pozu also. And there also I have told you that the characters are interdependent. They hate each other, but still they are not able to leave each other. That situation also, in that situation also, you can place yourself. You can connect yourself. We also face that kind of situation sometimes. Then Beckettian characters are geographically close to each other, but their mental preoccupation are distant from each other. So though we see that Lucky and Pozu and other characters are close to each other, but their behavior, their everything is absolutely different. Their approach towards life, their way of thinking, everything is different. Now finally, about Badal Sircar's plays. Answer of everything in Sircar's play is a 0. Now why 0? Because continuously we are moving round and round and round. We are repeating the things, continuously. And that's why answer of everything is 0. If we want to get out from that 0, then in this way we are going to break the norms of society, the norms of our family, and in this way we will bring a lot of unrest. And that's why, because of that separation, we always move round and round. We follow the same thing which was followed by others. In Sircar's play, main cause of exploitation is the lovelessness among people that we have seen, that how the upper authorities misuse their power, what kind of things they were doing with common people. Then theater of absurd as a critical concept and a new mode of expression, leading to rise of a new convention of art. Yes, it's a new convention of art because Badal Sircar created third theater. And in third theater, without stage, without light, without proper prop, without proper attire, if you are able to express yourself, so I believe it's a new convention of art. The theme, plot, character, and expression of playwrights Beckett and Sircar, their respective theater, do not provoke tear of despair, but laughter of liberation. Now,
okay, sorry for the interruption, Debupriya ma'am.
Yes.
It is time for the questionnaire session. Can I begin with that?
Just a minute, ma'am. Yes, I have just completed.
Yes.
This is the last slide. I'll take
Yes.
only 2 minutes. So here, I want to say that though we were discussing about theater of absurd, but it as I have told you that you can take it from your point of view. Maybe for someone, Godot is optimistic thing or some kind of opportunity. It's not like that key when we were talking about theater of absurd, so it only displayed tear, or it provoked tear. Fine. Thank you so much for your patience and for your precious time you have given to me. Now Please, Sana ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for
Yeah.
such an interesting and informative session. Now, I would like to request all the attendees. The floor is open for the questions. I can see three questions. One is from Anita, ma'am, and another is from Sejal Parmar and Nasir Mir. So let me put the question number one. Devupriya, ma'am, it is for you. That any
Yes.
women writers attached to this movement, ma'am? This is a question from Sejal Parmar.
Okay. Any woman writer?
Any women writers attached to this movement?
See, not exactly, we cannot say that exactly attached to this movement, theater of absurd, but as I have told you that with this theater of absurd, we can connect surrealism, nihilism, and existentialism. So from that point of view, there are female writers like Mahashweta Devi and Arun Joshi, but you are asking about female writers. So Mahashweta Devi is a writer, but uh, in her writings also you can see a few glimpse of existentialism and sometimes some absurd thoughts also, themes also you will come across, but not exactly the theater of absurd.
Okay, fine. So I can see this is not a question, but just an opinion from Nasir Mir. He's saying that irony is that Khoka belonged to an average family, and in a country living where everything is possible related to caste, color, religion, where there is a lot of version to see ahead, is what he got frustrated of, want to live a life, and eagle lives, freedom, killer of sheep.
Yes, he is absolutely right. See, Khoka, uh, when we talk about this work, procession, and Khoka, so this is the procession of dream. Khoka actually dreamt for a better world, for a better tomorrow. I just want to tell you about this. We have read this poem written by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not uh, is broken in fragments by narrow domestic walls. So it's a pre-independent poem written by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, what he has imagined and what exactly we are facing in day-to-day life. So yes, Khoka represents that. Khoka is within all of us. We also face the same thing. But we all have to work, we all have to think about that, then only we are able to get any solution. But this is again a matter of absurd. There is no proper solution for it.
Okay. Devupriya ma'am, there is one more, doesn't look like a question, but opinion from Mitali Bhattacharya. She's saying, when we look at Sarkar's play, is there any element of hope for a better future? Do the characters evolve in this place, in his place? Or do they, I'm getting so many questions right now, and do they make the audience ponder on the act of evolving?
See, in both point of view, we can see the plays of Badal Sarkar. Like as audience participation is must for Badal Sarkar. So from your point of view, also you can see the plays of Badal Sarkar and the characters. And here, as I've told you, that when we talk about absurdity, so it looks like that everything, nothing. We are moving just like a puppet on the hands of others, and life is meaningless. Though we know this thing, but we cannot do anything. We have to hope for our better life, our better existence. And that I have told you that in Waiting for Godot, for someone Godot is death, for someone Godot is failure, for someone Godot is optimistic a point of view, or for someone Godot is a new opportunity. So this is the beauty of theater of absurd, where you can place yourself, where you can think yourself, and where you can give your views from the point of view, from your own point of view. That is the beauty. In both the ways you can use the characters of theater of absurd.
Okay, so this would be the last question as we have reached the time. It's 1:22. This is from Subhadeep Jana. Ma'am, don't you think Sukumar Roy is also an absurdist? For example, Haja, Bar, La.
Yes, yes. You're absolutely right. Sukumar Roy, Satyajit Ray, they are also very prominent absurdist writers. But I have quoted few names, so I missed this name. There are other writers also. And yes, you are absolutely right. Sukumar Roy is again a very absurdist writer, and even Satyajit Ray is related to this theater of absurd. He has also written a lot of works, nonsensical verses or nonsense verses.
Okay, so thank you so much, Devipriya ma'am. I think we should go with the vote of thanks now. Thank you so much, ma'am. Highly engaging and effective session from Shubhadeep. Okay, now let me take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. Am I allowed, ma'am?
Yes, Sana, go ahead.
Yes, yes. Okay, fine. So. Thank you all the faculty members, students. On behalf of the Department of English, I would like to thank you all for attending this session and making it a big, I mean, hit of it. And a special thanks goes to the resource person, Dr. Devapriya Dey, who enlightened us with her great learning and experiences on the theatre of absurd. Last but not the least, head of the department, Dr. Shivani Vasudube, and my dear colleagues, Dr. Sulabha, Dr. Supriya Mandloi ma'am, Dr. Samina ma'am, Dr. Zohra ma'am, Mr. Piyush Pradhan sir, who would work on the certificates. And I must thank the organizing team, volunteers, for working so hard for the past few days to make the webinar successful. So I would like to thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have shared the feedback link. All of you, please make sure to fill it up. Thank you.